I'm going to start the recording. Here is a link to the agenda in the chat, so you can access that. I think we'll be a small group today, so don't worry about changing your name quite yet, because I don't think we'll need breakout rooms later on. So we'll just stick with the large group today. But to get started, and we can just go around and unmute and share, I thought since we are getting close to the end of the school year and maybe things will be back to normal this summer, maybe, fingers crossed, I'd like for you to share what you're looking forward to most, since last summer was a little bit bizarre and strange. So Linda, since you're unmuted, you get to go first.
Oh, thank you. I should have muted back. I have just put down that I will do an enhancement class for the summer. And so through the month of June, I'll be working with multi-age levels doing nature art. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, to see how what all that is about, and just being outside, exploring and things like that. Hopefully without masks. And then I would really love to go and see my uncle. He's been having a little bit of difficulty. He and his wife are, of course, getting up in ages, and they've just been dying for us to come and see their new place in California, and I would love to do that, if possible.
Nice. Okay. Let's go to Henry.
Be it ever so humble, there's no place like home. I moved from Corpus Christi in 1999, and I'm having beach withdrawals. I could walk to the water 15 minutes, 5 minutes all my life, but most of my brothers and sisters are down there. So that's one of the exciting things. And the other is just getting the kids on the stage, just getting the kids doing what they love to do so much. They're asking me every day. And I'm contemplating even small lunchtime mini things right now. Maybe perhaps if I can get my principal to agree with it, and maybe kids who are, as a reward, can bring their lunch up to the class, my classroom. There's a stage in my classroom, and we can probably have some distance performances, and just since everybody's back together. So just want to do what we were born to do, you know?
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. Chris, how about you?
Well, I very much identify with that thought that Henry just said about the beach. I am very, very excited to move to the ocean, where the ocean is. That's going to be a dream of mine I've had since I was a little girl. I used to draw waves and palm trees, and being from a landlocked state, I don't know where I came up with that, but I did. So it's a dream is going to be realized. So we can't wait. Beginning of June, here we come.
Yeah, big move.
Yeah.
And how about Nick?
Gosh, it is hard to even imagine summer at this point. I am really excited. We're going to be doing a lot of work on the Art Tech grant this summer, getting that all set up. So it's going to be really fun and really interesting to start meeting some of our schools and teaching artists and things like that. As far as things to do, I don't know. I've just been excited to get the windows back open. I usually am I'm a winter person, but I have been so excited. Working from home, getting finally all the doors and windows open has been really lovely. And gosh, I kind of want to go to Henry's shows. That sounds awesome. As a drama theater person also, I am so ready for to see kids back on stage in every way, shape, and form. I know Lyric Theater here in Oklahoma City is starting back up this summer, and I'm going to try to go see some of their shows and just get back to basics. Henry got me jazzed about just kids on stage again. Just listening to that, I was like, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely. Welcome to our folks who just came in. I just put a link to the agenda. Oops, maybe I did in the chat. There we go. We're going around and sharing what we're looking forward to most this summer. I'll go ahead and share. I'll give our new folks a moment to think. I'm very excited to maybe get to Oklahoma Summer Arts Institute and see students perform. It won't be at Quartz Mountain this year because they're renovating the facilities. It will be at USAO in Chickasha. So that'll be a little different for the students, but I love going down there and seeing what they're working on. It's just incredible. It blows my mind every time. I didn't grow up in Oklahoma, so I didn't know that existed. I didn't know something like that could be possible for high school kids. I'm a little jealous that it wasn't in my state growing up. So I'm just really glad that it's going to happen in person, and I can go down there and see what's going on. And the other thing I'm doing is I'm having a kid next month. So that will be my other thing, I guess, I look forward to all summer, and spending time with her. Let's go to Gina. Do you have something to share about this summer?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Gina. I'm the project director of Art Tech. I am really looking forward to maybe spending some time in Georgia with my cousins and my family. Also kind of looking forward to getting ready to launch Art Tech in the fall. So maybe hopefully meeting some classroom teachers that are excited and interested to teach arts to kids. One of the things that we're working on is providing arts access to districts that don't have arts educators just yet. So I'm really excited to see the group of folks that provide arts education for students. So that I'm excited on both counts. That's my work excitement and my family excitement. So.
And let's go to Townley, if you could unmute. Perhaps. Here we go.
That's me, Brooke. It's clearly my daughter has had a Zoom lesson on this phone. I'm actually driving to watch her at a dance competition at Rose State this afternoon, but same as Gina, super excited to get on the ground with Art Tech and spend some time at the lake when I can. So.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Okay. So in today's meeting, we're going to go through a couple announcements, things that maybe you should be aware of, summer professional development possibilities, and then I have a few projects that are looming on the horizon that I'd like to spread the word about. So I'm also going to share those. And then we'll have some discussion time at the end. It probably won't be discipline specific since we're such a small group, but we can chat about things if you have questions, ideas, things for next year, etc. So in the agenda, you can see the latest April newsletter link, which all of you probably had because you were able to get to this meeting. I tried to put in there as much as possible things that are coming our way as far as like competitions and events, different things. I know that the Oklahoma Thespians have their first in-person event that they've had all year, May 1st. So that's pretty exciting for them. There's a couple different art show things going on. Of course, the State Fair art show is happening this summer, and hopefully the State Fair will happen as normal next fall, and we'll have all of that to look forward to. And then for music, I know that the Bandmasters Association is planning an in-person convention in Tulsa. So that's wonderful for them. I haven't seen the choral side of things, what they're planning to do yet. Their website is not quite updated, but we'll see. Hopefully something can happen there. And then I know for elementary music folks that we have ORF levels happening at Owasso, I believe, and Kodai levels are happening at OU. And I know the Kodai levels are in person and happening. I'm not sure about Owasso if that's 100% quite yet, but music things going on too. And then we have a couple dance events happening over the next few weeks. I'm not sure if they have summer things planned or not, but there are things happening in dance education. Does anyone know of other summer PD that's happening across the state that maybe I need to get the word out about? Okay. So the next thing that is pretty exciting, and I'm going to try to share my screen, is the Arts Education Data Project. And there's a link to it in the agenda. And what this is a national project that we have joined. There's a bunch of states that already have data project dashboards going, Tennessee, California, Arizona, Arkansas, our neighbor, New Jersey, and we are finally joining in. So What this is a platform that shows you arts offerings across the state in all the different discipline areas, and then in every single school building at every single level. And how we got this information was from the OSDE. We had folks in our data department that gave data to a research group, and that data comes from the fall accreditation report that all of your districts send in every year. And in that report, they send in your class counts, how many kids you have in each hour, how many teachers are teaching which subjects, what your certification area is. They send us your email address and all those sorts of things. So we get all of this data, and we gave some of it to this research group to create the dashboard. And it's housed on Oklahomans for the Arts website. So that's where you will find it. There's a really nice welcome on the page from Superintendent Hoffmeister. If you would like to watch that at some point, she filmed that for us. And then there's also a communications toolkit that kind of tells you a little bit about what all this is, things to share out. They've also included a link to the course codes. This is what the whole dashboard is built on, is the course code. So if you don't know your district, any class that's offered, they have to code that and send it to the SDE. So they let us know, like, oh, you have a class that teaches third grade math. You have a class that teaches third grade reading. You have a class that teaches third grade music, and a class that teaches third grade art. And here are all the teachers. Same thing at the high school level. So those are the course codes that everything is built on. And that's how we pull out data. At the high school level, you might have ensemble classes that are just named like a cappella ensemble, but they're probably coded to the high school choir code when the school sends it in, because we don't have like the special names of the classes that you might call them in your district. But it gives us a general idea of what you're teaching and what's going on in the districts. So when you click on view our dashboard, you have to give it a second to load because it's a lot of information. But here it is. And if you go to other states, it looks exactly the same: Tennessee, Arizona, wherever you go to. You can see right here, this is the 2019-20 school year. We will update this with 2021. Oh no, hopefully this is just temporary. And 2021 will be coming out this summer. We had to wait a little bit to get that data with COVID happening and all those things. So in 2019-20, there we go. You can see that total, we have 636,283 students enrolled in Oklahoma schools. 381,677 took some sort of an arts class, and that's 60% of our student population in the state. Then we had 65,159 students who didn't take an arts class in that school year. And then there's more information than probably you ever want to know in the dashboard. This first view is the welcome view. If you find it a little overwhelming, you might come all the way over to the right and click on instructions and info first. That will give you a little bit more information on how to navigate the dashboard, why things are colored the way they are, all those different kinds of things, if it would load. It's being a little slow today. The other thing you can do is that there are often these little question mark bubbles or the help button, and those will give you like, this is what this chart is saying. This is what you should be looking at when you look at this view, etc. You can look at your own district. You can look at your county. You can look at your school building. You might notice on some of the views that it doesn't look right. Like you'll look at your county and you'll say, wait a second, that school building doesn't have those subject areas. And that's because we do have reporting errors in the data that we get from school districts. So typically it's someone in your district office sending in the data to SDE. Oh, still having errors. Okay, well, we'll come back to it. And so when they report that in, sometimes they make mistakes. And so those mistakes are going to show up in the dashboard right now. And what the research group told me is that every state that's done this, in about a year or two, their data gets cleaned up pretty quickly because school districts go in there and see, and they're like, oh, wait a second, we didn't mean to put that in there that way. So the data will get better as we go. Right now, you might find some errors, and that's just how it's been reported. But we're hoping that this site will help first encourage districts to offer maybe more arts than what they are at the moment, especially when you think about if you're a district in a county and the school next door offers music and visual art, and you're only offering 5 through 12 band, there could be a little bit of a competition thing there going on, or just helps the superintendent realize that, oh, the school down the road is offering visual art and we aren't. What could we do to fix that? It could also lead to groups like the Art Tech Grant or the Arts Council stepping in to help fill in the gaps of schools that don't have fine arts. If you go into the dashboard and start looking at places that have very few subject areas, that will give everyone a good idea of who we could be serving, and find all those places with lack of opportunity. So it's not meant to be a shaming tool at all. So if you ever hear that, if you think, oh my gosh, they put this out there, and that's not the intention at all. It's meant to just shine a light on the arts. We're not like the other subject areas. We don't necessarily exist in every single building all the time. And it's to help encourage people to offer more things, and then maybe get community folks and others to fill in the gaps. So that just came out this week, and we are excited about it. There's an executive summary report that's almost done. That's really easy to read. It's a PDF of like 20 pages. It kind of tells you what's going on right now. So that will be coming on the website, easy to digest, a little bit easier to navigate than the dashboard itself. Okay. Any questions about the dashboard before we move on? It's a lot. Okay, next thing is the Art Tech Grant, and we have a few folks on the call here who are leading the charge with this effort. So I'm going to let them talk about it, but there is a link to the website in the agenda if you want to check that out. So Gina or whoever, go for it.
Well, thanks for having me, Elizabeth. I want to thank you for inviting us to kind of talk a little bit more about Art Tech. I don't know if you've been on Facebook on the OSDE page or seen on Twitter, but we are part of a grant that is bringing arts education, as I'd said before, to some of our smaller school communities that have no arts access. And so what we're doing is we're filling in a gap. I actually just got off the phone with Shavin Aaron, who's the band director in Ardmore. And it was just really having a conversation about what are the needs of certain schools, what are the needs of certain schools that have arts educators that are needing curriculum, needing additional resources, and where we can be of service. So one of the things that we do with Art Tech is we provide a curriculum, we provide for classroom teachers, we provide an arts experience that students have each month, and we also provide a teaching artist that facilitates those arts experiences. We're hoping in our curriculum to make sure that it is culturally responsive and accessible so that all students have access to show and to explore, but also for the middle school and high school, which we are launching not this year, but in the year 2022-23, making sure that there is a hybrid learning environment where they have access to the arts. So that's one of the things that we are working on also at the state agency, is filling up a need and a gap. And we would love to hear from those of you here today, any feedback that you have from that, or any things or noticings and wonderings that you're having in your classrooms that you feel like is would be resourceful, because we do hope within the next 2 or 3 years, once our curriculum has been built, that will be open access. So it will be available for not just folks in Oklahoma, but folks in the nation to have access. So we would love any feedback as you're thinking about resources that you would have found invaluable, even as a first year teacher, to have in your arts classroom, because that's really what we're doing, is we're finding gaps, we're fulfilling that need, and then we're hoping to build something that's more sustainable, so that we can save a space and a place for an arts educator. So that's kind of Art Tech in a nutshell. Nick, who is with us, is on camera. He runs kind of our participating schools portion of the program. And Nick, if you have a moment, want to share with just some of the schools that we've been reaching out to and hope to connect with, and a little bit about what maybe the process of like applying would look like.
Absolutely. I put a little informational sheet in the chat as well, if you want to take a peek at some of the information about Art Tech. Really right now, we're getting a lot of interest from all over the state of Oklahoma, but one of the things we'd love to prioritize as we sort of pilot and launch the program are targeting rural schools that currently have no arts access. I'm gonna share my screen for just a second for just a kind of a fun little map that we have produced. Oh, I don't think I can share my screen, and that's just fine. Where Elizabeth can give me permission for that at some point. But we've gotten a lot of applications, and one of the places that we're looking at are just from around the state. This Finder Unknown. Let me see if this works. Allow Zoom system preferences. Okay, well, this looks like it's going to be trickier than I thought. But we're really excited that we're seeing a lot of interest in the far west side, the far east side, far to the south, those rural areas where they just currently have nothing. So when we put our application out, we started getting a lot of interest from those particular areas. And that's where we'll be looking to hire some teaching artists that will have some great kind of proximity to those areas so that they can visit those schools for our monthly arts experiences and really connect with those teachers. But one of the things that we're also finding that's so interesting is that we are getting some applications and people reaching out that have current existing art programs, a lot like yourselves. So it makes us think that not only is this a program that is in need where there is none, but also there's a lot of people that are looking to supplement their current arts curriculums and find ways that down the road Art Tech can help supply interesting lesson plans and some variety that folks like yourselves can kind of put into your curriculums also. Yeah, that's a little bit about who we're reaching out to. Any questions about that? Our application process is a really easy one. You can find it online. I think the link is in the informational sheet that I put in there as well. Yeah, there's a link to the application in there. We also have an interest survey that you can fill out if you were interested in sort of keeping up with how the program is developing. And I believe I have a link to that also, and I'll pop that in the chat. And that's a real simple, just a quick Google form you can fill out, and it puts you on basically what we're using as just an informational mailing list to make sure people are updated as to the process of the program, how it's reaching out, and other ways that you can find out more information about it.
Awesome.
We'll
Hey,
take any questions if we have any.
I have a quick question. I want to say I probably saw it. This is Chris, by the way. Sorry. I want to say I saw it on one of the Facebook groups, but just because, you know, I sent you an email, Elizabeth, about there's so many great artistic people, community oriented and thoughtful that I think could be such great assets to the arts here in Oklahoma. And has this information about, you know, needing the art techs and things like that been posted in, you know, the theater groups and the, you know, music groups, like things online that to apply, you know, just thinking of people that would be so great at helping out.
Yeah, a
Yes.
couple of the places that I've tried to shoot for have been the Oklahoma Theater Guild and the
Okay.
Oklahoma Drama Education Network are two that I've sort of been a part of for a while. So we put out our all call for teaching artists there, as well as other information. This is a wonderful type of meeting where if you wanted to pop in a certain Facebook group that we might not know about, or a great resource or organization that we can reach out to,
Okay.
we'd be happy to write that down and make sure that information gets circulated there as well. Because there are some groups that we just don't know about, you know, outside of our
Sure.
own disciplines.
Right. Okie doke.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good question. Well, we have also noticed that some teachers have also applied, and that's one thing that we're also looking into. We know that it's mostly the school leaders that are making some of these decisions, but as arts educators are also applying, I think it's fair to say out loud that it's something that we are considering, that maybe if it's something we can't build in the first year, that's something we see as a need. And if it's that curriculum that we need to build as a resource, that's coming your way for sure.
Great. Okay.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Elizabeth.
It will be a different world, I think, once this gets off the ground and going, because we do have, I think it's about 20,000 students in Oklahoma who don't have access to the arts in their school building at all. So we have those, and then we have a lot of districts. I mean, I know Linda's a visual art teacher, and there are many, many districts who do not offer elementary visual art, much less drama, theater, or dance. So we could really expand out and start supporting those programs in the middle school and high school if we could get schools the instruction at the elementary level. So yeah, it'll be great. And we have a great team working on this.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on to summer professional development. Things are so up in the air with venues and distancing and COVID and all of that, that doing something in person just isn't quite feasible this summer. Next summer, I'm really hoping for a great, huge arts, professional development, all 4 discipline areas kind of thing going on. But this year, it's just going to be online. So what we're doing is a webinar series, and these webinars will cover the new Oklahoma curriculum frameworks. So they will kind of give you an overview of what the frameworks are and how they were created, why they're there, how you can use them. They will only be 10 to 15 minutes long, so just a short time for you to watch and get an idea of what this is. And then at the end of July, we'll have some Zoom time set up for each discipline area, and you can ask the teams that wrote the frameworks direct questions. And we can also talk about going back to school, those kinds of things during that 1-hour Zoom meeting. So the frameworks are almost done. I'm getting a lot closer. Linda was part of the writing team. Linda, it's getting there. It's closer all the time. These are the ensemble and or secondary music standards in the frameworks website. And how it works is you click on the standard and it takes you to student actions, teacher actions. And we kind of split this into different classes because in the ensemble secondary music world, there are a lot of music classes available. And key understandings and teacher insights for this standard, which is generate musical ideas for various purposes and contexts. And then when you click on resources, it takes you to a new page that gives you some ideas for lessons and then supporting resources. And we have tried as much as possible to make sure that all of this is free. So anything that's listed on here does not require a subscription fee, copyright license fee, any of those things. Everything should be free and open access that's linked here. So the resources and the lesson ideas support whatever information was here under the standard for things that you could do in the classroom. So that's a general idea of secondary and or ensemble music. For visual art, I've gotten a little bit done with 5th grade. So the standard is learn and use vocabulary and concepts related to visual art. It's the same basic view with the student actions, the teacher actions, the key understandings and the insights. And then when you go to the resources, again, we have lesson ideas that are available that you can click on, linked out, and then supporting resources that the teachers could use to build curriculum, build lesson plans, etc. This is phase 1 of the frameworks. Phase 2 is full lesson plans for the standards, curriculum maps. For the elementary level, those are going to be kind of based on different models because some people see their kids once a week, some people see their students every 2 weeks, etc. We'll have summative and formative assessments, pacing guides, all the things. So that's what is coming down the way. And you can use this resource or you don't have to use this resource. So it's there. If you know a teacher in your building that is new and struggling a little, then this might be a lifeline for them. If you get to the end of December and you need an idea to fill in the last 3 days before winter break, this may also be a lifeline for you. So it's there, it's free. Hopefully it will be officially launched here within the next few weeks. and you'll be able to have access to at least this first part of it. And then the second part will get built next year. And if you would like to contribute to building the second part of it, this is paid work. You can do this in addition to your normal teaching job during the school day. The only requirement is that you have an Oklahoma teaching certificate. So if you have that, you can apply to be part of the process, and we would love to have your help. We had a great group this year, hoping next year will be just as good, fingers crossed, and we'll get phase 2 rolling. Any questions about the curriculum frameworks? Okay. So last piece of the meeting, we're just going to have some time to have discussion. Like I said, if we split into breakout rooms, I think some of us would be alone. So we're not going to do that, not be all by myself. Does anyone have any questions, thoughts, comments as you roll into the last part of the school year and finally have students back? Wait time. Okay. Well,
I'm
that's
good.
You're good. I'm just really glad that students are finally, some of our districts are 4 days, some I think are back to full 5-day weeks. It's just really, really exciting. And I'm glad that I think all of our teachers at this point should be fully vaccinated if they chose to be. So it's just wonderful. Hopefully we won't have any trouble with future strains and we can keep going. This will definitely be something that we will all tell future grandchildren about someday. It's been a crazy time, most definitely.
I'd be curious if anyone's been asked to help out with summer school in the fine arts department. If someone's asked if you would be willing to work through or support in any way, provide resources.
I think Linda is. Is that correct, Linda?
I think all of our buses have been picked up now. Yes, there is what's being called enhancement sessions, where the children can enroll in some of these out of the normal class day type activities, whatever we choose to present. So there is another team of artists that are going to put together something with famous artists and kind of link projects to certain styles of famous artists. I do know that there was a chess group last summer that did some stuff. There's coding and things like that. I think I am the only other arts, and like I said earlier, I'm going to do nature art so we can be both indoors and outdoors, and kind of, your leaf printing, building with sticks, maybe making paintbrushes out of sticks, just kind of look and see what they have resources for. And we definitely have a lot of dead limbs here in town. So I think I've got a lot of resources, maybe, making just things that they wouldn't think of, and be creative and explore. And it is all grade levels. They are, however, they enroll and have to pay. So I don't know how it's going to do. I've never done it before. It's kind of a 10 students to 1 teacher kind of ratio for 4 weeks. And it's an 8:30 to 12. So they're with you for like 4 hours.
Okay.
So.
It seems like a couple districts are trying to do things similar to that. Okay. Well, the last thing that I will share, this is our final meeting of the year, is that I have managed to finally update the STE Fine Arts webpage. It's at the bottom of the agenda there, and it has been slightly remodeled. Things may still change around a little bit, but I think you'll find that there's hopefully more information here and easier to access information. I know the OSDE website is not user-friendly. We apologize for that. That's partially because of the platform that we're using. We really need to get just a new site, and that's in the works, but you know, government agencies, it takes a while. So we will get there and we will get a new site. But until then, I've remodeled the Fine Arts website, and some of the things over here on the right may be helpful to you. The guidance information includes some information on federal funding, the new course codes, excuse me, they're going to be coming up next year. Textbooks, if you have questions about that, or what the requirements are for fine arts in Oklahoma, and teacher certification questions. If you have someone that you know that's getting emergency certified or alternative or whatever it is, that is there too. There are a bunch of resources linked out under the resources link. I put all the newsletters in here, archive them. And then there's other things as well that you might recognize that are just statewide efforts that we have. And then I did create content area pages for each discipline area. So if you click on that, for example, this is dance education, tells you a little bit about dance education in the state, what the community's like, and links you out to a few more resources. So each discipline area has their own page now, in addition to the fine arts page. So some of this might change in the near future, but for right now, that's where it is. And I think hopefully it's a better website than what I had before. So a little bit more user-friendly, easier to find things, etc. Anything else as we wrap up? Okay. Well, thank you all for being here. We really appreciate it. I didn't want to have to record to just 2 people. So this was much better than the scenario in my head. I know it's a busy time of year. If you know of folks that missed this meeting, which I'm sure you do, you might let them know that I will put it up online. I'll make sure that people can get access to it, because I think some of the things that we have happening, people need to know about. So we'll try to spread the word in that way. As you wrap up your school year, thank you so much for hanging in there, for not giving up in the middle of December or whenever all the stress from all the things finally hit you. I just can't even imagine teaching this year. So you all have been amazing, hanging in there for your students, and we need you. So keep going. You don't have much time left, almost there. And then you can go sit on the beach or wherever it is and recharge.
Sit on the porch.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you all. I'm going to stop the recording.